What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Today, we're here with the showcase of Big Mom versus Kaido. However, we're not looking at Big Mom today. We're only going to be looking at Kaido's side of things. So before we get into the showcase video, I want to talk about his ability so you guys understand completely what he is capable of doing. And we're going to showcase all of that in this video today against some content. So here we have Kaido, the Kaido side of things, who is a strength-driven powerhouse, with a captain effect that's going to reduce your cooldowns by 2 turns at the start of the quest, which is ridiculously useful to have, also boosting the attack of strength, dex, and int characters by 5 times flat, 1.3 health boost, and then reduce all enemies' health by 20% at the end of each turn. So useful to have that effect, and then boosts the chances of you landing on a tandem slot and makes them beneficial for your team. Now, the tandem slots are going to be very useful because you want to make sure you just encounter as many tandem slots as possible for his versus effect. So his versus effect states that you need to consume at least 10 recovery, tandem, or similar slots in order to activate it. And then when you do activate it, it does 500 times his attack in typeless damage to all enemies for 3 turns. And then also for 3 turns, he does 3 times his normal attack damage to the enemy with the highest HP for 3 turns. It is ridiculously useful how much damage you can get with having this as his versus ability. Something to note is that he can activate his versus ability as a crewmate as well. So in this video today, we're only really showcasing him as a captain, but even as a crewmate, he's going to be ridiculously powerful, getting some free damage off, of course. Now, his special ability at a 13 turn cooldown, mine is limit break expanded, so this is the lowest cooldown he can get to, will go ahead and reduce all enemies' health by 20%. That ignores everything, and it will also change block and recovery slots into tandem, which is very good, of course, because he makes them matching with his captain effect, and then boosts strength, dex, and int characters attack by 2.25 times for 1 turn, and if you hit 3 perfects, you get an orb boost to dex, strength, and int characters 2.5 times for 1 turn. So all round, he is his crew's own attack booster, orb booster, phenomenal captain ability, amazing versus effect to get lots of damage output here. There's lots to love about Kaido versus Big Mom. His sailor effect, he cannot be blown away. He makes strength and int characters tandem recovery and similar. He also will have the enrage ability, which will give him 200 additional attack after he's taken damage and remove 3 turns of increased damage taken. He has 7 turns of slotline removal and a 90% chance to land a crit, which is dope. This character is so immensely powerful, and I really hope that this showcase video today is able to showcase some of the craziness that this character is able to output, and the artwork is immaculate as well. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get into the showcase video of Legend Kaido. Alright, let's get into the showcase of my man versus Kaido. Now, of course, there's lots of drama around the way that I ended up getting this unit, and I can't believe that I had to go as deep as I did on this banner, but now that I have this unit, and I've been able to use the character over the last couple of days, I love this unit. This unit is freaking awesome, man, and there's just so many things about this unit that I think I can definitely see why many players on Japan consider this character to be like one of the best characters in the game. Obviously, with this character, we've got 2 different units. We've got versus Big Mom and we've got versus Kaido, and only in this video we're just going to be having a look at versus Kaido. I'll be making separate content videos on Big Mom in the coming days, so definitely look forward to that and stay tuned to the channel if you guys want to see some Big Mom content too. But definitely Kaido, from me playing both of these units, Kaido definitely seems to be my favorite of the 2 because he's very reminiscent of like the original Kaido, original Dex Kaido in a way, and we'll talk more about that as we go. But another great thing about his captain effect is the -2 cooldown at the start of the fight, right? So if you're running double Kaido, that's -4. With your sockets intact, that's -6. And if you have a ship that gives you minus cooldown as well, -7. Having -7 cooldown with a flat 5 times captain is insane. Now, his captain effect being 5 times flat is just considered to be like the best captain effect already right now. I mean, Goldie Roger, yeah, he can be a 5 times captain. He is a rainbow captain that is also 5 times, but you got to remember that he's only a 5 times captain for 3 turns after you launch his special. I still think Roger's probably my favorite legend in the game, but as more as I use this unit, man, this versus Kaido is just bonkers when he just clears content, and I mean, there's so many different things about him that makes him so much easier to clear content compared to other legends in the game. So yeah, the 5 times captain effect is fantastic. He does boost the attack of strength, dex, and int characters. Strength and int specifically are quite good. There are so many powerful units for those 2 types. Dex, on the other hand, not so much. Dex is definitely one of the weakest types in the game. I think probably Quick is the weakest. I'm not really too sure on global right now which one is the weakest. I think probably on Japan, Dex is still the weakest, but Quick on Japan recently got huge updates with a lot of recent powerhouse and driven units, right? But specifically about Kaido, right, boosting strength, dex, and int, you have a lot of variety there, lots of freedom for your organization of your team. So team building is not a problem with this unit at all. And another really good thing about his captain effect is that he will go ahead and reduce all enemies' HP by 20% at the end of each turn. And obviously that goes really well in hand with his versus effect, which as you guys may or may not know, as we talked about in the start of the video, doing 500 times his attack at the end of the turn for 3 turns, and then tripling his normal attack damage and targeting the highest HP enemy for damage as well. And it's really cool the way that it works and the way that this character is programmed, because first of all, at the end of the turn, after you've activated the versus effect, it does the 2 health cuts from both captains, and then it does the wave clear, and then it single targets the enemy with the highest HP. So it works really, really well in hand. I'm really happy that it actually does do the health cut first. Otherwise, it would nowhere near be as good as what it is. So you do the health cuts first, then wave clear, and then single target massive damage hit. So very reminiscent of like Douglas Bullet with his special ability, where he like takes the multiplier of how much normal attack damage he does, and then multiplies it by 2, and then wave clears with that value. Whereas this guy's like, you know, he does a massive wave clear 500 times his attack, which is actually more larger, more significant than version 1 Kaido, because version 1 Kaido is 400 times his attack that gets dealt at the end of each turn. Whereas this character is, you know, for those 3 turns, it's 500 times his attack, so it's even more significant. And it is typeless damage as well, it's not type damage too. And then also the 3 times of his normal attack damage, you'll see in this video how crazy that damage actually is. There's multiple different situations where we actually go ahead and use that to our advantage. Just being able to rely on that versus effect to give you just that little bit of extra damage that you need. As long as there's no normal attacks only, of course, which is definitely something that you may want to look out for, because if there is normal attacks only, Kaido might not be the most ideal captain. He's definitely going to clear content, no worries, even if normal attacks only is a thing. But if there isn't any normal attacks only, he can clear it way easier than many other captains in the game, because his versus effect just does so much damage and essentially carrying you through content, which is just super impressive. So that's all well and good, talking about his captain effect, of course, boosting so many different types, giving you health cuts at the end of the turn. He's actually got a 1.3 health boost as well, so he makes him somewhat tankier. But another thing that's great about him is his special ability, because his special, while there is both a pro and a con to his special, which I'll talk about in a minute, but the fact that his special ability is essentially his crew zone attack booster and orb booster, that is awesome, because it means that in a lot of situations you probably don't need to go ahead and bring another attack booster or another orb booster on your team, because he can go ahead and do it himself. Of course, the way that he's structured is you get an attack boost turn 1, and then you get the orb boost on the following turn. It's 2.25 attack, and then moves into a 2.5 orb boost. And of course, with double Kaido, you can have, you know, you activate it turn 1 to get an attack boost, move into the next room, you get the orb boost, then you can activate the second special to get an attack and the orb boost in the same turn. And his special will go ahead and change block and recovery slots into tandem slots, which of course, as his captain effect, he treats as beneficial, and he makes them appear more often. Now, that also gets into something that I don't like about this unit, and specifically what I don't like about versus Kaido is his special ability requiring perfects. I think that's a little outdated in 2021, or essentially this character came out in 2020 on Japan. But to make this character even more crazy than what he already was, I think it would have been so good if it, instead of, you know, hit 3 perfects, you get the orb boost, it was just like after 1 turn, you get the orb boost. Because that's definitely something that I really don't like, because his special ability already health cuts, his versus effect already gives you a really substantial amount of damage added on top of that. So during turns where you activate his special, you get the health cut and then you get the attack boost. You know, there's going to be situations where you're not able to hit your 3 perfects, which means you will not get the orb boost in the following turn. Whereas with this new mechanic that they brought in with, like, Kizuna Moria, for example, where, you know, after 1 turn, you get just another boost. In my opinion, that's what they should have went for. I think that probably would have made this character even more insane than what he already is, but I feel like that probably would have been a more suitable effect to have. Just considering, I feel like requiring perfects for a special is kind of just an outdated ability, and honestly shouldn't really be applied that much anymore. But at least one good thing about it is that you can stack, you know, having to require perfects for the next room and that clock buff you can stack them both in the same turn, which I guess is a nice thing. It would have been nice if, like, Kaido did one of them and then Big Mom did the other. That would have been kind of cool if they wanted to go down that route, but either way, it is what it is. But another thing as well that I found whilst using this character that I really dislike is the condition for his versus effect. So you need to consume 10 recovery, tandem, or similar slots. Now, that's kind of annoying because if you're running short form content like Colosseums, raid bosses, event islands, especially with Kaido, right? With Kaido, he gives you so much extra cooldown, you typically want to clear the content as fast as possible. And if you need that versus effect to clear the content, like Nami and Shinobu, for example, that clash that you saw at the start of the video, I actually had to do, well, not really stall, but I needed to make sure that I'm consuming as many slots as possible just to ensure that I get that versus effect to launch. If you don't get that to launch, that can actually be quite a big detriment to your team. So the condition of having 10 recovery, tandem, or similar slots, well, it's not the worst, it's definitely nowhere near the best. And there has been times where I was testing out him in GARP challenges and stuff, and like I needed a certain effect on a certain stage, and I like was missing by like 1 or 2 tandem slots. It was just really annoying. But one good thing about Kaido that you can kind of offset that with is the fact that with Kaido, you can apply the Victoria Punk ship or the Kid Forest ship, because I think it's a 1.55 attack ship if your captain is strength or dex, and then it goes up to like a 1.6. I can't remember the exact multiplier, maybe it's 1.7. It might be 1.7 if you have a tandem, bomb, super bomb, or a Wano slot. So because obviously Kaido is a strength unit, he makes tandem slots appear more often. It means you get a higher boost when they appear. And also it does state that that ship slightly increases the chances of tandem slots appearing. So with double Kaido, that obviously increases the chance of tandem slots appearing. And then that ship on top of it, it's probably like your best opportunity to get tandem slots to appear. So that's something that you may want to look out for. If you do pull this unit, you would probably want to go ahead and clear the Kids Training Forest to get access to that ship, because it does help out a lot. I used it in the GARP challenge video you guys may have seen yesterday. It's really good because you can use it to just remove 1 turn of barrier if you're up against an enemy with a barrier, so that's kind of nice, right? Definitely not an effect that you'll need, but it's something to look out for. I mentioned a little earlier that his special ability kind of annoyed me in a little bit of a way, because it does a health cut, but then it requires you to hit perfects, and sometimes you'll just kill the enemy before you can hit your perfects. Well, that is actually a bad thing. One good thing about that is the fact that it is a health cutting special, and there are plenty of supports in the game that will only attach to a unit or only activate when the unit that you attach it to does a health cut or damaging special. So for example, like version 1 Akainu can now attach to this Kaido, enabling you to get a guaranteed full board of strength slots, which you can then change with whatever you want from there. I mean, technically speaking, you could run, like, hypothetically, the Kaido as a captain with like Odin support, right? Or Odin as a sub, and then you could run, you know, Kaido's special ability, you get an attack boost turn 1, and then he'll give you a full board of strength slots if you have a Akainu support, and then you could use the Odin special to give your strength units a slot boost effect and give you a full board of Wano slots. So that's something that you could potentially do as well. And I know that Wano slots don't count for, you know, counting up his versus gauge of Kaido, but on a burst turn, that could be huge, right? To get a 2.25 attack and a 2.5 orb boost turn 1, just with your 2 units and a support. And then if you hit all your perfects, you'll get another, you know, orb boost in the following turn, especially if you're moving into a new stage with a preemptive. You know, Odin's orb boost will not carry through to that stage. So potentially you could have like your full board of Wano slots, all your boosts, you could lock them with another orb blocking special, and that could be something you may want to look out for, you know, just in case if like all of your slots are treated as non-matching or something like that. That is like a really, really good way to go about that. And one thing about this unit as well that I just absolutely adore is just the aesthetic of the unit. I think that the special animation of Kaido and his versus effect animation are so good, and obviously his ink artwork as well is probably one of the best in the game. I think it looks so good. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this little breakdown of Kaido, giving you my thoughts and opinions, the pros and cons of the unit that I found so far. And definitely is one of my favorite units in the game that I've been using thus far. I love the effect of just having so much cooldown reduced. You're clearing content as fast as possible. But of course, the only major problem that I found is that, you know, sometimes getting those 10 tandem slots, recovery slots, similar slots, whatever, can be a little bit annoying. But if you are able to get it, his versus effect is insane. It's essentially like version 1 Kaido on crack. It just does so much more damage, and I'm having a bunch of fun with this unit. So I'll leave you guys with the rest of this clip here. This final clip is against Raid Kaido, including his ambush quest as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. And if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And definitely look out for some Clash or versus Big Mom content in the next couple of days. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
誰だか